Under the Speaker's announced policy of January 3rd, 2025, the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Green, is recognized for 60 minutes as the designee of the Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, and still I rise, a proud, liberated, unbought, unbossed, unafraid Democrat. And I'm proud, Mr. Speaker, to say that I rise today to recognize those that I call the impeachment warriors. I had a press statement that was sent out, and I'd like to read just a few words from it, Mr. Speaker. It reads, media advisory and public notice. Congressman Al Green recognizes the significant battle won by impeachment warriors. And then there's a subtitle, Kilmar Abrego Garcia has been returned to the United States and may get the due process authoritarian President Trump declared he had no constitutional right to. Mr. Speaker, I'm very proud of these organizations and what they have done. They have made a difference. These organizations have been on the front line to prevent an authoritarian president from devolving our country into a total state of the authoritarianism. These organizations have taken the time to organize and mobilize within our communities. And these organizations deserve an expression of appreciation. I believe that organizations that go to this length should have a flag flown over the United States Capitol to honor what they've done, Mr. Speaker. I have in my hand such a flag. This is a flag that was presented to me upon my arrival in Congress by a member of Congress. I cherish it and I have kept it. This flag was flown over the United States Capitol. I plan to have a similar flag flown over the United States Capitol for each of the following organizations. For edification purposes, these flags will be flown over the same Capitol up the same flagpole that had a flag flown for President Kennedy, for Dr. Martin Luther King, for Rosa Parks. I want them honored because of what they're doing to prevent an authoritarian president from devolving our country into full-blown authoritarianism. Mr. Speaker, the organizations that I would like to call to the attention of this Congress would be Free Speech for People. This organization has acquired more than 600,000 signed statements, petitions to impeach and remove President Trump from office. The Women's March, another organization that has been engaged. The May Day movement, the 14th Now movement, the Citizens Impeachment Now movement. And I have two friends that I'd like to single out who have been very helpful. Jessica Denson would be one. She is with Lights On with Jessica Denson, a podcast. And my constitutional law friend, Attorney John Boniface. I plan to have these flags flown this week, and they will be presented to these organizations at a later time. These flags will represent what I believe is a true testament from one member of Congress to say to them, please know that you have won a battle. You were able to bring Mr. Garcia back to this country with your work, but that battle doesn't mean that the war is over. We still have a war to fight because we have an authoritarian president in office. I have in my hand, Mr. Speaker, a column from the Washington Post. This story from the Washington Post, dated June 9th, 2025, reads as follows. This is the style of the story. It reads, California Governor Gavin Newsom says Trump is stepping toward authoritarianism. An excerpt from the actual story reads, California Governor Gavin Newsom should be arrested. This is something that President Trump said. This is from the story. President Donald Trump said he thought California Governor Gavin Newsom should be arrested, a claim that Newsom described as an unmistakable step toward authoritarianism. I concur with what he said about the step, but I would simply say this. I think we're already there. We are in a country wherein a president has devolved democracy into authoritarianism. This president has done so by using executive orders. He has done so by using the very courts to move his executive orders, but by moving them such that they move slowly and get to a final judgment that would be against him. This president has disrespected the federal courts. He has disrespected the orders of the court. When the courts have said to him, even if you differ with our orders, you have to appeal these orders. You cannot decide that you're going to proceed, notwithstanding the court's implementation, a failure to implement the orders that you think should be implemented. This president has decided that judges should be impeached if they decline to follow his mandates. He has said ugly things about the judiciary and has gone so far as to say that some judges don't deserve to be on the bench and that these judges should be removed by way of orders of impeachment emanating from this very House. This president has devolved democracy into authoritarianism. He is a president ripe for impeachment, and impeachment is what we shall bring to the attention of this House. We have already filed H-Res 415 to impeach the president. This resolution deals with the acts that he has perpetrated related to the removal of a person from this country without due process, without giving this person the opportunity to say, you've made a mistake, notwithstanding the fact that his administration acknowledges that a mistake was made. This president, pursuant to these articles, should be removed from office because judges told him that he had made a mistake and that he should facilitate the bringing of this person back to the country, and he has not done so as of the time these articles were filed. This president knows that the removal without due process was an improper action, but he did it, notwithstanding the knowledge that was accorded him by some members of his staff, some persons in his administration. So I say to you, H-Res 415, this would be articles of impeachment that we'll call to the attention of the public. This means that they'll be voted on. They'll be voted on in this House. I will read them. They will then be read again by the clerk, and that thereafter they'll be voted on. Those who vote to table, and there will be a motion to table, those who vote to table will be voting against the articles of impeachment, notwithstanding all of the evidence. Those who vote to have the articles move forward will vote against tabling the articles of impeachment. And then we'll let the record stand, and I suggest to everyone, vote your conscience. I will be voting to avoid tabling these articles of impeachment. But I'm going beyond these articles of impeachment. I am going to file additional articles of impeachment this month, and these articles will relate to not only the president, but also the vice president. Both of them should be removed from office, president and vice president. And I will present these articles of impeachment to this House this month. I don't know that I'll bring them to a vote this month, but I do know that they will be presented to the House this month. The president is unfit to hold the office that he has. The things that he says and the things that he's done are clearly indicative of an authoritarian presidency. Mr. Speaker, I have been censured by this House for the things that I have done. I was in here and I called to the attention of the president that he had no right no right. I didn't say right. I said that he didn't have a mandate. But I was in essence saying you have no right to eliminate or to cut Medicaid. And then I went on to talk about Social Security and Medicare. I was among the very first to call this to the attention of not only this House and the President, but literally to the attention of this country and the globe. And I was right then, and I'm right now. The President is cutting by and through the members of the House and soon to be the Senate, money from Medicaid, some $700 billion. He is going to cut now Medicare, and only God knows what will happen as it relates to Social Security in the hands of my Republican colleagues. I believe that we cannot allow a president to do these things without challenging him, without confronting him whenever we have the opportunity. Having done so, I was censured for what I did, and I accepted my censure. I accepted it. It doesn't mean that I agreed with it, but I accepted my censure because I believe that if you protest, you've got to be prepared to suffer the consequences. I was prepared to suffer the consequences. I don't agree with them. But I believe that when we do things that contravene the laws, things that are not in harmony with society, things that are causing harm to society, I believe that there are punishments that we should suffer. If you break the law, you should suffer punishment. I believe that a president who is breaking the law by avoiding the constitutional responsibilities imposed upon him by his oath of office, by the Constitution itself, I believe that when he does this, impeachment is the remedy. If the courts cannot control him, and my Republican colleagues who have the majority in the House and the Senate won't control him, then the only thing left is impeachment. And that means that the Congress of the United States of America, in this House, this will become the court of last resort. We plan to use the court of last resort to bring justice to the country for what an unfit president is doing to devolve our democracy into autocracy.